Hi again. Welcome to the second episode of The Ugly Truth. In this episode, we're going to continue our discussion about the reasons and the root causes of the Iran-Israeli conflict with more deep dive into the um, cultural, social, and reasons and other reasons as promised in the previous video. Would be the second episode in the three series. So will be the next one would be the third and the last. Honestly, I'm not a professional journalist, and I expected this to be only done in one setting. But I see, honestly, again, so many of these facts were not represented within the mainstream media. Maybe they don't have like interest, so it's more of like personal matter, or it's not breaking news, so people may not have enough interest. The second thing is, thank you for watching my videos, and I know that some of you just reach out and sort of wonder or, yeah, indirectly complained about my fluency or professionalism in this series. I think that one of the reasons is that I'm not good, and again, you might be interested to watch, is somebody who translates from Persian to English. So I have tried to research and gather this information. Many of them might not be available in English resources or media, or not as rich and comprehensible. The second thing is, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm an immigrant and I'm working on my fluency in English. Hopefully, it's get better. So without further ado, let's again go to the talk about the second episode of The Ugly Truth. Again, in today's video, we'll take a closer look at the modern Iran, especially from the perspective of someone who lived under their ideology and experienced its impacts firsthand. This is the image of the Pahlavi street, one of the longest streets in the Tehran, capital of Iran. I assume that's as you are watching this, you would know about a little bit about the geography and the world's countries' capitals. Longest street directly connects the railway to the very south to the north mountain, the kind of railways, cable rail things. So now it is called Vali Asr, the 12th Imam of the Shia, who is absent for last almost 1300 years or 14, and Shia Muslims expect him to come back as a savior. I think it's pretty much established concept in many religions. Epic. I think we will talk about this epicleptic or similar. Again, my English in the next episode. So as you see, it doesn't look like very modern, and I'm afraid, as I said, like to these images would replicate the North Korea. So as someone who grew up in Iran, I wanna share insights that go beyond what's often shown in the media. This includes daily life under the Islamic Republic's rule, the social, cultural, and similar, etc., transformation since 1979. Remember this year. And the long-term consequences of the revolution. This is a taxi station in the next to the Vanak Square, one of the transportation hub in capital in Tehran. So yeah, you see all these Pages, many people today are hesitant or outright afraid to visit Iran. The fear is understandable, especially for citizens of Western nations who worry about being used as political leverage. In many ways, today's Iran feels like stepping back in time. For example, the most taxes. Um, I think I have, yeah, the most taxes on the streets are still Peugeot's 405s models that were discontinued in much of the world decades ago and are still produced locally. In contrast, prior to 1979 revolution, Iran had access to most of the uh, cars of the era. So I think this is yeah, not yesterday. I wish that it was like the Shah time before the revolution. Maybe it's more politically or geometric, I don't know, socially correct, culturally correct. That these cars, although old, they were the pretty much modern cars of that era. So if we do not emphasize and stress out and talk about it and try to do something, I think we will soon see similar to the Pyongyang, you know, that the capital of the North Korea, rather to the Seoul, the capital of the South Korea, which is pretty much advanced, modernized, and the rate of health, life expectancy, everything is pretty much very standard and or at least very closer to the modern and advanced world, the developed world. So you could compare the Iran versus United Arab Emirates, for example, one of the neighborhoods who pretty much started at the same time or not. So before the revolution, on the left, you see like how the Tehran, the capital, would look like, and I think that this is Dubai. I don't know where they have taken this, but I think most of the transportation hub or advancement that's supposed to go to Tehran, um, they moved to they were moved to other countries: Turkey, United Arab Emirates, Doha, Qatar, Oman, and Kuwait, maybe, in order to skip the chaos and instability, political instability, and problems and issues that caused by the ideological people or powers in Tehran. I hope it makes sense. So the Iranians lost a leverage that could help them economically, uh, like significantly. Prior to Pahlavi, so we had next is like the what happened in 1979. People with the figure of the Ayatollah just came into the streets and toppled the Iranian monarch. So before the Pahlavi, like we have the Qajar, Pahlavi, and the Islamic Republic 1979. So before 1925, we have like exactly 100 years from now, but still we can contain it into the contemporary Iran. Um, and so to truly understand this transformation, we need to briefly go back in history. Prior to the Pahlavi dynasty, Iran was ruled by the Qajar dynasty. These two images, sorry. Um, I appreciate that the world was different, but not that different. So there are two women. Life under the Qajar dynasty and rule was marked by widespread poverty, disease, lack of infrastructure or education. Life expectancy was low, and the country lacked a modern administration. And that's pretty much the thing that I would like to emphasize today. Lacked a modern administration system. We have one Persian word, haram sara. This is the On the left, you see like these are the king's slaves or wives. I'm not too sure. Nasruddin Shah, I guess. So they are the royal women. Oh my God. I don't believe that I belong. Sorry. Royal Haram Sara equal to the Western term Royal Women's Quarters. And on the right, you see the camels. I think this is like close to the citadel or the capital or the court, Shah courts or King's court. And this is nasty to me. Like honestly, like even though it's potentially my country of birth, and oh my God, look at that. Um, so as I said, the education, everything was not good. So I think they use these are the camels used for the transportation. So you can imagine how disease can spread. There is no health, no system, and no system. This is the very thing that we need to talk in today's discussion. Then came the Muhammad Reza Shah. On the bottom, you see the Muhammad Reza Shah and his queen, um, his wife, and on the top, so and you see the President Trump back in 2020, and Melania, right? Melania Trump, I think, the First Lady of the United States. So Iranians, including myself, we would enjoy like this irony to compare, and I think I mean, myself, I'm not gonna talk on behalf of all. Some of us, maybe better to say, to stay on the safe side. I think we just stuck in back in the time. So the difference, the time gap, I think is 40 something years between these two. But they would like to say like how he would try to modernize himself and also his nation. So yeah, together in less than 50 years, Muhammad Reza Shah transformed Iran into a modern, together with his father, the Reza Shah, secular nation with major investments in infrastructure, education, women's rights, and international diplomacy. Under their reign, I mean, both Pahlavi's father, this is the father Reza, and the son Muhammad Reza, under their reign, Iran began to resemble a a rising regional power until the year 1979. That's our luck turned down. The revolution. So yeah, let's talk about like the time because this is about like the Iran-Israeli war and maybe a little bit of we need to talk about the Palestine, Lebanon. Many of the Lebanese, I think, Palestinians are basically or originally originate can find their origin and ancestors into Jordan, Syria, Golan Heights. I think it was a part of Syria in back in years. Yeah, the world map was quite different. Like 200 years ago, you could expand your border, but not any longer under the current contemporary United Nations organization. This is the image of Reza Shah, the first Pahlavi, and the Ataturk. I think they both started to modernize Iran and Turkey. Iran after the Qajar by the man on the right, and the Ataturk, the man on the left, after the Ottoman Empire, after it collapsed after the World War One. So this is all about after the World War One, and I think Reza was pretty much inspired by this guy, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, Mustafa Kemal Pasha, and also known as Ataturk, the father of the Turks. Yaşasın Türk arkadaşlar. I lived there for a while. Yeah, pretty much this is the two key figures in the Middle East. And at the same time, if I'm gonna go to the calendar, I think the Declaration of Balfour was 1970, and Reza Shah started to 1925 until the World War II, 1941, and his son took the power. And then Israel was maybe created in between, I think 19 something, or 19. So, um, but yeah, I think it wasn't that important, at least to Iran. We had like so much on our plates to take care of. And oh my God, yeah, so some of these are quite wrong. I just rushed to create this in order to be punctual and attach and follow up my first episode. So Six Day War was during Muhammad Reza, his son, the son, 1970, 1967. So he, I think, pretty much involved. I know that in peace process he was involved in, and he took neither side. I think my this is my honest opinion. So I think Iran at that time was a part of the peace process. They had like the peace through strength, the term that's pretty much overused these days, and or not a deterrence. We weren't like United States, but I'm pretty much sure that we had the, as I said in the previous video, the I think the second or the third, I don't know, like the power. I mean, one of the best air forces in the world. I think Iran was the only country who received the F-14 fighter jets, also a bomber. And I reckon, correct me if I'm wrong, even Israel didn't have that. So it was a very loyal and uh, trustable ally of the United States. Yeah, I'm talking about before the 1979, the golden year. So uh, we just need to look at the map. So this is like pretty much the Palestine. I think next image is better. So this is the West Bank, Jordan, Egypt. So many of the people, many of them are coming from Syria. I think this is not as accurate again, but this is the accurate one. So you have the Syria there, Jordan there. Yeah, it was correct. So you see like how far apart these two countries are? Yeah, remember the ugly truth, and that's the reason why. You know, the most unlikely war to me, this is interesting and weird. And to me, as a given, like I'm a part of this disaster, I really, really like it, this nightmare to end. And I'm gonna explain more reasons, the things happening behind it. So the revolution, driven by large part of the clerics and Islamic ideology, these are the Iranian women before the revolution. So they did their best in order to transform this image of the women to this. And the Iranian Revolution, driven in large part by clerics and Islamic ideology, promised freedom but delivered regression, repression, crackdown, and yeah, like the another dictatorship. Images from the revolution show millions of Iranians uh, took the flag and posters of the figures of the Ayatollah of that time. So the Shah was overthrown, and with him, much of the secular progress Iran could have made. So in this episode, we will explore how ideology would react to this thing, to the power. So I created some images to see the irony, like we, I mean by we mean I think even if I was honestly, living at that time, I would go to the streets. It was the unholy alliance of the left and black, of the red and black, the left party and the Islamic ideology, the religious ideology. I'll talk about it in more details extensively in the next episode. So, and we delivered the power to and the ruler to the mullahs. So they are the cleric icons, and they aren't educated in for economics, so or to for running the country, political or geopolitical, socio-economic administration. So try to think that personally, I don't think that they have any patriotism. So as a comrade, you would doubt because they even don't have an outfit or clothes that look like others. So pretty much as you can see them, they look like more something like between Eastern or Southeastern, maybe Sikhism, uh, whereas they are not Sikh, they are religious. So very weird. I think we owe them government or a regime uh, back in the 1400 years, and they succeeded to ruin it, and they don't leave power for sure. Another feature about them is like the hypocrisy. So, for example, they advise people to go and ask and pray for being health, but they receive the bill of healthcare same as the education. So they send their um, their children to overseas, to advanced countries to receive the best education, whereas some we don't have even enough shelter in some parts of Iran. So the education is pretty much messed up, um, and they don't feel like they are capable of making a change. So very old system, just whatever left from the Shah time, I guess. So once they are talking about the diplomacy with the hypocrite, I don't understand. Like they don't promise, they don't believe in patriotism, so they don't belong to, and they can deliver everything. So you are not talking about the same standards actually, and you have to think twice once talking to them. Or in the power, I think you see more of angry faces, given like this is not their job and this is way beyond what they can deliver. So in this episode, we could talk about how ideology replaced institutions and how lack of separation between religion and government had led to decades of stagnation. We'll also discuss what means for the present and whether Iran can return to a path of progress and freedom. And the economy, I think the last thing you would ask like to do the calculation and analysis. I remember that many people would tell you, many Iranians, that they had like they were entrepreneurs and or they were trying to do some investment, some financial planning, and tonight everything changes. It's pretty much I think in other Middle Eastern countries as well that the leader can change because he didn't or she didn't feel most he yeah because they don't allow women to grow that much into the power. So as I explained just now. So the economy, I think, is messed up as well with them. About the politics, I think these are the very figures that will ring a bell, look familiar to many of us. Also, oh my God, if they receive the military equipment, I think that this is disastrous. So they can do anything, and they justify. So um, because they're very good comparing to the Shah army, for example, very standard, organized uh, system. Still in there, however, they try to degrade it and undermine it. So they don't have enough power to do the major things. So the other second one, the IRGC, has the most power politically over the freedom of information, telecommunication, economy, and so on and so forth. We can talk about it later. For example, this is how one of the chief Air Force commander, I think it was the deputy or the main, he's the chief, and you would see him under the Shah time that he was running a system. Let me show that video. That's how they would, if I can, I don't know, like, um, and this is the how the modern uh, army would look like. This is this guy that I just shown, General Jahan Bani, is like here, like he was the commander, and under the Shah reign, they had the peace through deterrence, or I think as I said, this is the power. So once I think they could be like a you could be a normal nation like others, and I don't know what happened that we have thrown to 1400 years ago, and I think nobody could be blamed but us, although there are some theories as well. So yeah, I'm gonna compare like two commanders. The modern one, I think he passed away a few years back, but the other one was executed, I think, on the first day of the revolution, or maybe day minus one. I'm not too sure. And so I think that pretty much justifies that why this guy of Tehran was um, dominated by the Israeli army, and they could do nothing about it except like going to the bunker, and people left without shelter, and thanks to the Israeli we are still alive. Otherwise we would be, many of us would be, yeah, not there. I don't know, like, I think we were blessed, and I'm gonna explain that why the Hebrew, I mean the Jewish people and Jews would feel some blessing and not to target the infrastructures or many other things as well. So are the mullahs all bad, given what I said? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In my high school, I remember that we how we could be well indoctrinated, brainwashed, and believe in what they were saying. They are good. I think they are very good in speech, in gatherings. They got skills, and they always have an alternative. Given like once they call, many people would gather. Still, like I don't know whether their popularity. Somebody says only 5%. Religiously, maybe a little more amongst all the population. I don't know, but I'm sure that at the end of the day, some people are either superstitious, man of, they feel they would think them as a man of God, and I think so. We should never underestimate them. But I think they are not educated for running the country, so you need certain skill set. You don't know about many of the almost nothing. Whereas you may be good with some sort of philosophy, discussion, arguments, literature. Even some of them are not good with the literature. Neither they're studied in Arabic, but not much. And yeah, this is what happened pretty much. So maybe this can summarize in a recap that what happened during the Reza Shah, his son Muhammad Reza, and then the Islamic era in the past. So Reza Shah, for example, built the infrastructure only in 16 years, and then Muhammad Reza Shah 35 years. I can tell you that the recent supreme leader has been in power for 36 years, even 1 year more than Muhammad Reza. So that's the reason why we wonder, like our expectation should be. So you are sitting on top of the Muhammad Reza's uh, building and infrastructure. So maybe they would have like this mentality. So the mindset is, yeah, if people wanted wealth and health, why they toppled him? And I guess that, all right, people were confused, or I don't know. So we would think like, yeah, some people would say there is a conspiracy theory, the superpowers, they played Iranians and toppled the Shah. Or I think that Soviet Union or the left wing played a big the communism right on top of Iran. This is the modern Iran, and you see how Soviet Union. I think it was ended and collapsed before the 1989, I guess. So they were looking for instant alternative, which was, I think, the mullahs. And now it's the Iranian. This task is resting on the Iranian shoulder to topple and restore the order of the power. It's like there is a saying in Iranian says that it is like the we took the donkey to the top of the rooftop and now it's super difficult to take it back and put it down to restore the order of the an order. So what is the instant solution? Any instant, we don't want to talk about it. Oh, look, we are tired of this. Well, I would think of a model of MBS, the King Salman. Sorry, the Mohammed bin Salman, the son of the king. So the Crown Prince MBS, and I think that's the way that he is looking, and I think he also encouraged other Arab nations surrounding the Arab Sea and the Persian Gulf. I think they are a good model, especially him. I think he's young. He pretty much understands that we need to update, we need to refresh, and I think this his model can be replicated. And I hope if there is such a possibility, that we could talk, or if you have any idea, I would be grateful if you are better than me, and I think many of you are way better with the history, geography, geopolitics. Please drop me a line. There are some questions. I will try to create contents. But first, I need to find some time, maybe next week, until next week, that I can make the next video. Thank you for watching. Again, I do apologize if I wasn't as ready. This is not a professional journalism, but I tried my best to deliver this concept. I all did all for the next, which is the last episode, the third episode, and I need some time to prepare and make my thoughts, do the research, and deliver it to you, hopefully before the end of next week. Thank you for your patience, and I wish you a great week ahead. Cheers.